Kapadia joins us, Vice President with Elara Securities, and a lot to track. Harshit, what should we start with? The news on ceasefire, the indication from American administration on tariff, or should we start with pharmaceuticals, where controversy has started, or defense now?
I look at morning, I look at cap goods, I look at consumer electricals and durables and EMS space. So any questions on any of them be great.
Let's understand defense. There are two ways to look at cap goods and defense. Drones were used in this attack. Does that make rest of the defense industry redundant? Or for rest of the defense industry in India and rest of the world, there is a warning sign now that you need to build fast, and you need to perhaps keep everything future ready now.
No, it would not make the other equipment redundant. It just that tells you that the modern warfare has changed a lot, and right now drones are the in thing, and so is a counter drone system, which is also used to detect this systems. So both are of an equivalent number, and in terms of markets, I have shown this both, not just our war. Or our conflict, I would rather put it that way. The other two wars have also shown that. So hence, we are also prepping up our drones manufacturing. There are more than 300 plus companies in India who are manufacturing drones in India of various variety, from a small use, it may be non-defense use to a defense use. So both the Indian defense companies, foreign companies are all here in India who are into this drone manufacturing, and so is the counter drone system as well.
Okay. Can you identify some companies for us where do you think this entire drone effect could be a big driving for the future earnings within the listed space? Which are the companies which have direct or indirect presence in the drone segment? And defense drone, if I may add so, because there's civilian drones also, like, Idea Forge gets 96% from civilian drones. So frankly, it's not relevant.
Right. So no major player in the listed space is into defense drone, though everybody claims to be on the defense drone side. One name you already mentioned, there are companies like Past Defense who also is into defense plus non-defense drones. Then Zen Technologies has recently launched a defense drone according to them, and but nothing has been supplied as of yet. So most of the drones that we see which are used by the Indian Armed Forces are largely imported. And there are defense drones, but most of them are from the unlisted entities where they are buying it. So that's what we understand.
Wondering, as an investor, what's a better way to own defense companies? Is it via the government-owned companies, or do you think it could also be a better strategy to have a mix of private names as well? I mean, everything from a Bharat Forge to M&M, many of these private businesses as well do have a defense component and company.
So I think the defense can be played in three ways. One is your large cap defense PSUs, which is HAL, BEL, Dynamics. Then there are shipbuilding companies. That's another way to play it. Then there is a small and private defense companies like Zen, Data Patterns, Astra, Paras, more names. And there are large defense private sector companies, ones which some of you already mentioned, like Bharat Forge, Solar Industries, L&T. So this is a three bucket in which I would want to put. Now, what we think right now, it's the time for PSUs, because a lot of orders are going towards this PSUs because they are the ones who are integrating most of the technology. But let's say 5 or 10 years down the line, we see the private defense sectors rising disproportionately as we are looking at indigenization, we are looking at components being manufactured for some of the integrated projects which PSUs are getting into. So a lot of beneficiaries would come from small and private defense companies. And in this concurrent time, even the large players will also see a rise as they also get into much more integrated modes like L&T and Bharat Forge. So on the small and private space, what we like is Data Patterns, Zen Technologies, Astra Microwave are some of the companies that we like within the small. So you can play this in three ways.
All right, but Harshit, given the fact that India has strengthened its positioning when it comes to the defense and the kind of technologies that we have, do you believe that we have a larger scope to grow our share of export as well? Because, well, of course, export has seen a good growth of almost 12% in the year gone by, already at an all-time high level. But how much more headroom do you believe we have still to grow our exports?
So our target was to touch close to $5 billion in terms of exports, okay, by FY25. But probably in few years down the line, we should be able to even reach this number. Now, a lot of events which has happened in last few days, has created a lot of impulse in the global media on our indigenized products. So some of them may see a light of the day. Some are already in the conversation with a lot of countries, where it is BrahMos, where it is Akash, where it is Astra, those kind of systems. Even in terms of helicopters and aircraft, the discussions are ongoing. We had seen some success in some missile-related products. Now, with this current Indo-Pak thing happened, conflict, a lot of indigenous system was used, and this may see on a broader aspect will entice and interest much more significantly from smaller countries like Southeast Asian countries, Middle East countries, and African countries, some Latin American countries as well. So we should see even much more multifold growth in exports from Europe.
What is the right way to look at defense stocks and their valuations? I mean, is it PE? Is it order book? Because these are, the order books are very, very different from, let's say, a infra company's order book or a auto company order book, because these are orders which come initially and then executed over years. I mean, HAL told me that it takes about 8-9 years to make one plane. So order book reflects a large number, but execution takes 7, 8, 9, 10 years sometimes.
Yes, the execution timelines are very stretched. This would be true mainly for shipbuilding companies. So every company has a different strength. So if you are looking at missile, the order conversion time is somewhere between 2 to 3 years. For somebody like Bharat Electronics, they have orders which can be converted from 6 months going up to 3 to 4 years. For HAL, it would be from 4 years to even 7 years. Shipbuilding companies would be somewhere from 6 years to 10 years. So every company has to be played in a very different way. You can't just pinpoint one company. But if you are looking at earnings growth momentum will be highest, then it would be somewhere where the execution cycle is the lowest, and some companies sitting in an order book of close to almost 5x or 10x of the sales. So which is what I'm talking is Bharat Dynamics. So there the order conversion time is only 2 to 3 years. They have an order book of around 20,000 crores as on March 25. When it comes to HAL, we will see more of revenue growth execution pickup. So they had issues in terms of supply chain, hence they were not able to execute it. But from here on, FY26 going up to let's say next 2 to 3 years, we see double-digit both earnings as well as revenue growth momentum for HAL. For Bharat Electronics, the growth momentum would be upwards of 20% is what we understand as far as these three names are concerned.
All right, but Harshit, given the fact that for now and for the year gone by, the India defense budget is fixed at 6.8 lakh crores, help us understand that what are you penciling in with respect to this number? Because in a special situation like this, is there a possibility that government can actually go ahead and increase its spending in any way?
Yes, there is a separate report which is coming from standing committee where it highlights that if and when the armed forces require additional amount because of any situation, or if there is a certain buying requirement which has come, they can go to the ministry and they can increase the budget per se, and they can increase the amount which they want, any of the armed forces. So there is a scope there. And if the need be, then our armed forces will go and increase the budget. Out of this 6.8 lakh crores which you mentioned, the appropriate amount which is for the equipment buying or for the defense capital goods is 1.8 lakh crores as far as FY26 is concerned.
Harshit, with this, we'll let you go on that. Thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking with us and giving us a sense that what's really been happening within the defense pack, what's the outlook, and how should one look at the stock-specific reaction. Thank you so much for taking the time out. But with this, viewers...
If If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.